We got through all 6 questions. So now we got to get to the main part of our podcast here, and we're going to dive into, is it horror? So what we're going to do here is ask the question, is a movie, maybe you've thought about it as horror, maybe you haven't, I don't know, but I think there's some horror elements. Mike might think some horror elements, and we're going to decide if it's horror or not. So first movie, are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right, so first movie that I have written on here, and this is not one that anybody thinks is remotely horror, but let's talk about the elements for a minute. So the movie is Max Payne. It's a video game movie. What do you think, Mike?
Okay, so I'm not ready to say, do I think, is it horror yet?
Yeah, we'll get that at the very end. We'll get that.
Yeah, let's talk about this here for a second. So Max Payne's based off of a video game. That's a very dark and ominous, right? Like it's now the movie's Mark Wahlberg, but like and Mila Kunis, I guess. But
yeah.
His wife and daughter are killed, and then he's just obviously, as anybody would be, in a very dark place. I mean, the horror elements are there, as in you have like kind of what demons or angels, and you have like this mystique, and it's just dark and moody. Kills are, a little bit over the top, but realistically in the movie, there's not a ton of blood or anything.
There's a couple kills. It's some of it's kind of done atmospherically off screen. A lot of the kills are. So the movie Max Payne has his daughter and wife killed. He is now in the cold cases department. There's a new drug out in the street called Valkyrie. The drug makes you see these I've got the timer too. All right, I'll let you keep it. You keep it. The drug makes you see these demons or these angels or Valkyries that will then haunt you or hunt you. Now, the drug that they're taking is a military form drug that was supposed to take away your fear, but a side effect is it kind of made some people homicidal maniacs. So we have this main bad guy who is a military guy that has this big machete, and he is hopped out and he controls this Valkyrie drug, and he's going around murking people. But you see these demons pulling people off buildings, and it's not actually happening. It's all in their imagination. The demons aren't there, but it's got that it gives you that horror feel through most of the movie until you find out what it actually is at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the vibe of it, and I think how it's filmed, where it's almost like that graphic novel, comic book feel.
Yep.
Gives you that vibe. Now I'm ready to, I guess, talk about like my thing here, though. But I don't find this horror.
We're giving it right now. We're giving it.
I'm just jumping into this part of it right now. What we talk about, but in my opinion, I don't find this to be horror related, because some of it is just, it's based off of like a moody video game that like I don't think that it is it's not a horror video game. I think how some of the scenes look, and I think there can be something to be made about the imagery in it being elemental.
Yep.
As we always say, but to me, it's not.
So I played the video game. The video game doesn't have this not so horror element. It's got more of a depressing actions, that type. That's what the video game. This movie decided to throw a couple elements of horror in there, and that's these demons that are flying above you, tormenting you when you're on the drugs. So that lends itself to some terror, which a horror movie to me is you're either terrorized mentally or physically, right? And so this is kind of a mental torture. That being said, this is an action. This is a video game.
Yeah, I think it's a violent action movie.
Violent. I really like how they did this movie, and it's one of my more favorite video game movies because they did throw in that kind of, is it horror, is it not type element, and in the end, it's not. It's just some guy and drugs and all that stuff. But I thought it was a fun movie to kind of watch and rewatch, and I obviously Mark Wahlberg is somebody who I think is a dog shit actor, but I'll watch every movie he does. Like
I love Mark Wahlberg.
No, I love Mark Wahlberg too, but it's not because of his talent. It's just the guy is like, I don't know what it is. It's just you want to watch everything he does. It's kind of like John Wick, whatever.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. He's not a very good actor, but you watch everything that dude does.
Yeah.
But no, this is not horror, unfortunately.
I will say Mark Wahlberg does a very good job of going in between genres. He's never done a horror movie.
The Happenings? Is The Happenings horror?
Well, I guess that's true. First off, Well, I won't give you my thought in case you ever put that on here, but
I have it on my list, so don't say it.
I won't say. All right.
So no Max Payne's horror. It is a fun movie, and it has the elements, as Jason would say.
So I guess we're keeping it in the video game format here. So I'm asking you, Kirk, the new Mortal Kombat that came out to HBO Max. I don't know, like it's a little over 2 years ago now. Is it horror?
All I know is I really dig this movie. It was a fun watch.
It's a great movie.
So you have two warring clans in Japan, and these two guys kill each other, or one sells them soul to the devil, and one dies, and they turn into demons. You got Shere Khan, who can take your soul, who employs a bunch of demons. There's a lot of good gore in this movie. That one demon gets sliced in half.
Well, you have the guy's like a UFC fighter, and he has to like recruit people to save the world against the Netherworld. Yes. So you're good versus evil. Right?
So if Max Payne had a touch of horror, this is dialing it up, because you're dealing with actual demons and soul sucking and succubuses and demons that can freeze you, or demons. Why does Scorpion have something that can pull you back? But I guess they don't know what real scorpions are.
Hey, get over here.
Get over here. This movie it's got a lot of elements that would steer you towards horror,
including gore, and like it's the almost like the over the top. Blood is gushing and squirting all over the place. And I will say, some of these kills are the best kills I've seen in years that they pulled off.
It's a fun movie to watch. And at the end, when Scorpion comes back and get over it, yes, you get so excited about the thing. It's great.
Well, the nostalgia of the actual video game that we all loved, which, I mean, why did we all love it? Because it was the game that you could put in the blood code, and you could have all the, and it had fatalities, and then it had animality, then it got weird, but
babalities,
yes, that you were excited about. And I mean, it sounds like you and I both agree that we love the movie.
Yeah.
And by the way, Part 2 is coming.
I'll
hope
be
they
there.
Followed the same model, but I think
I hope they put it in the theater.
I bet you HBO Max does the same thing and takes it. Oh yeah, it's just
Max.
It's just Max now.
Yeah. So what kind of isn't a horror is it is still just a video game, right? It's an action video game. Was the video game horror? No, they just put a story around this very violent tournament. And video games are going to have demon characters. I mean,
I think this has way more elements of.
This is more than Max Payne. We started on kind of a softball.
So, but let's say I know we're done with Max Payne, but let's take Max Payne and let's take Mortal Kombat. Let's say there was never a video game, and Max Payne is just the movie, and Mortal Kombat is just the movie. For me, Max Payne still is not a horror movie.
It's closer though without the video game. I think
it is closer. I think Mortal Kombat does become a horror movie with how many violent, over the top, it's honestly, deaths are happening almost in every scene. What would you classify? It's not like I'm shooting you with a gun a Crime Story. This is like demons, supernatural.
Yeah.
It is netherworlds and, maybe the devil himself, who knows, and then over the top blood. I think it is a horror movie.
That statement right there, I agree with you 100%. If there isn't a video game,
right.
If there isn't previous history and other games and other movies with all this content behind it, it's a horror. It's good guys versus bad guys. It's demons versus humans. It's King Kong versus Godzilla, right? It's just monsters versus good people. But unfortunately, I think this isn't a horror movie because of the backlog of information we already know about this world. But
yes,
it's got tons of elements.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I agree.
But I think you just tried to one-up me on the video games. You just wanted to beat my video game because, whatever.
I mean, mine did beat yours, for what it's worth.
The movies, yes. But, I love Max Payne. That horror element in it every time just gets me, so...
The broodiness.
It is. All right, so let's we didn't hear the horn, but all right, so The Burbs is my next movie. Have you seen The Burbs? What did you think about it? Is it horror?
So I have seen The Burbs. It's been a little while. Yeah.
Something.
So Tom Hanks. It's been a while. Basically, Tom Hanks. I think he's off of work for like, I don't know. Maybe he's on vacation.
1989.
But they believe that their neighbors are in a satanic cult and killing people. I believe that's the premise.
Yeah, he thinks they're like evil of some sorts. Yes.
Right. So this is a dark comedy where, you know, it's a lot of, you know, it's Tom Hanks, right? So you're going to have like the goofiness, you're going to have the Tom Hanks isms that are in every Tom Hanks, like old school 80s, 90s Tom Hanks,
1989
right?
Tom Hanks.
Yes. Well, yeah, 80s, 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like Tom. What show was he on?
Dude's been in everything.
Bosom Buddies. He was on Bosom, but right. But like he had that like that appeal. Obviously, he was in Big and all those different movies, but it's got that goofiness about him. And I think this movie is more centered around the dark comedy and the goofiness, and the cast of characters, right, in this movie is pretty good, if I remember.
You got Corey Feldman in this, Tom Hanks.
I don't remember Corey Feldman.
Carrie Fisher is in this movie.
Oh, wow.
Okay. That's
it's been a minute.
Bruce Dern, if you remember Bruce Dern.
Oh, I love Bruce Dern.
Yeah, he's in this. So for me, I made a comparison. So I compared this to a comp, a football comp. They always say this running back reminds me of this person. So I did this is a Tom Hanks, mostly comedy, Fright Night.
Well, yeah. I mean, staring at your neighbors and, and
paranoia.
And the outcome is kind of the same, right? Like, you're right about it the entire time.
They end up being evil.
You
were the only one that thought they were evil, and then at the very last, the very last minute, you find out he was right.
Yeah, he was right. They did murder the family that lived in the house. But if I remember right, in this movie, there's not really any blood or guts in this movie whatsoever, but they have there's like a dream sequence and it's more comedy based than anything, but where he envisions himself getting, I think, barbecued, and there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, scene and stuff like that. But outside of that, I really don't even think there's, except for like the premise, I don't think there's really too many elements to this movie.
It's kind of crazy. So you can go look at the Burbs and look at the cast. The cast is pretty stinking loaded. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of people you'll remember. But the thing is, Fright Night is clearly a horror movie, right? Obviously. Mm-hmm. This is just the Ghostbusters version of Fright Night. So it's a horror comedy. I think it absolutely is. They're trying to kill him. They're trying to kill people. They're trying to come into that neighborhood and do bad things. And he is the last only person thinking that they're bad and fighting up against it, and is able to stop them.
So you say horror comedy. So to me, and I've talked about this on the show before, there's horror comedy and there's comedy horror. I think it's a comedy horror, not a horror comedy. But I agree with you that it definitely, the overtone of this movie, especially when you put it up there, I mean, as kind of Fright Night worthy. I'm gonna land on this movie. If we're gonna go with this, I'm gonna go with this is a comedy horror. But
horror's still in there.
I definitely think
or the movie Disturbia. Did you ever see Disturbia? Isn't that the one with Shia LaBeouf when he's
I've seen Disturbia, but
Disturbia.
Literally, I saw it. No, Disturbia. Oh. Well, yeah, Disturbia is what you're talking. Are you thinking Disturbing Behavior? Like, there's two different.
The one where there's a kid next door, similar to Fright Night, and he sees the neighbor.
It's Disturbia. It's Disturbia. Yeah.
I always get that name confused with the what's her face Halle Berry movie where she's the psychiatrist and all that. So. Robbie Downey Jr., Halle Berry.
I remember what you're talking about, but I couldn't.
I can't think of the name either. So, all right. So I think this next one. So I'm saying this one is horror.
I'm with you.
So two no's, one yes. Now, before we get into the next,
why'd you say two no's, one yes? I said that was horror. Oh, so
movies,
for the movies. So
we've agreed.
I got you.
That being said, let's say nothing has anything that has like no previous history, I think Mortal Kombat's the most horror of all three of these movies.
Absolutely.
But since it has the
Absolutely.
video games, it falls to second.
Yeah, but
place.
if you were showing it to somebody that didn't know about the video games, would you say it's a horror movie then? Like you, right? Like even though
No.
you know, but they don't.
I mean, honesty. All right, honest time. Put your hand on the Bible or whatever you believe in. You're gonna say, "Let me show you this new movie. It's a video game movie."
Well, first off, I watched it with my kids, so
Yes.
I'm not going to, and we loved it. All right, so next movie here.
Talking about comedies. Go ahead.
So this is an interesting one that I'm throwing on here because everybody's automatically going to think it is, but
Yeah, that's why it makes good conversation.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah, so Army of Darkness. I mean, this is the third of the series in Evil Dead, starring Bruce Campbell, directed by Sam Raimi. So far, this is screaming horror, right? You've got the Necronomicon, you got Deadites, you've got an army of zombies and Deadites coming to siege a castle, and Bruce Campbell, our main character, Ash Williams, has to fight them off. All right, so that's everything horror, right? Everything in between that is pure comedy gold, actually. It's really, really funny.
Yes, it's very funny.
And I think they learned that off of Evil Dead 2 is Bruce Campbell's physical comedy, the way he can get that physical Jim Carrey type, use his whole body type comedy. That's the angle they needed to take this third one. So that's the reason they took it this direction. But it has all the demons. It has all the
I agree. First off, I'm still upset to this day that it wasn't the original name of Medieval Dead. I mean, I don't understand how you can drop the ball on that. But so I think the easiest answer to this is, of course it's horror. It's part of the Evil Dead series. But like you said, there's obviously the well, right, that has the blood like pouring out, and you have the mini ashes that like turn into him, and then like they take him down. What was that movie where they took down the giant and they look like little Gulliver's Travels.
Gulliver's
right,
Travels, yeah. Jack
So they
Black
have
did
like
a version of it.
Yeah, they have like a scene like that in there, but a little bit more, and you have the Necronomicon.
Yep.
But like you said, it's more funny than anything. So once again,
Yes.
just pose this hypothetical question. Let's say Army of Darkness. Let's say there's no Evil Deads. Army of Darkness is its own
This is kind of like Mortal Kombat. This is kind of like Mortal Kombat.
Right. What would you? Because I think the easiest thing is to say it's a horror movie, right? Like,
Hey, I got this really funny movie. Let's watch it.
right. Yeah, I got this movie. It's got all these different. It's good. It's good for people that like a lot of different things. But let's say none of the other Evil Deads ever existed, and this movie just came out and it's called Army of Darkness. What would you say?
I would just
about
straight
this movie?
comedy. Like, it's not even a dark comedy. Like, the jokes aren't dark. They're slapstick.
They're stupid slapstick. Yeah.
They're not stupid. They're really funny.
No. To me, slapstick is stupid.
I know. I'm joking. Yeah. I mean, you're introducing this as a comedy, and what's a comedy about? Oh, these these demon forces are trying to take over this castle in medieval times. Yeah, that sounds like that sounds like an action horror movie. But but it's more about the comedy. But I don't know. This one is like, I would say, equal parts comedy and horror. Like every joke has then a woman flying out of the sky with demon face. Like, it's like everybody but Ash Williams was horror and Ash was comedy.
Yeah,
Is anyone else playing this as a comedy?
No, I think the people of the city and like the king and all the they're so straight faced. They're not like
It
horror.
adds to the comedy.
Right? Like they're playing it so one sided. Even like the main girl in the movie that like everybody is just so straight. And he's
You got
the one,
ugly, babe.
Here's my boomstick, and a car drops from the sky, and I would say if there was no other, I'm with you. It's a horror movie.
It has to be. Like, I get the argument, and like, I think this internal debate will always struggle, even if you separate the movie. That being said, with it being part of the Evil Dead, and now we've got Ash vs. Evil Dead, we've got all the other stuff. It just,
you didn't want to say Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead
you just
Rise.
Didn't want to say it. You just didn't.
No, I
want to
did.
say
No,
it.
I did. I called it stuff. I like
That's another movie we reviewed. It's not the
Yes,
same.
I Evil Dead Rise is definitely horror. That's what I'll say about that one. All right, so last movie, and I don't think it's one anyone's thought about being horror. So, and you can do the 1970s version or the version from 10 years ago. I don't really care. I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but Clash of the Titans.
So yeah, so this is mythology, right? Like, and I understand why you're asking this, right? Monsters, gods,
Medusa.
the feeling of supernatural. Yeah, I forgot about Medusa.
Hades.
Yeah,
Hades is the devil in Greek mythology.
So I've watched the original one from the 70s. I bet you I've watched that 5-6 times in my life, and then the latest one I watched once.
Did you see Wrath
It's got
of the
Liam
Titans?
Neeson and no, I don't even think I saw that one.
Oh, that sucks.
But they're good movies. I enjoy Greek mythology. I love the Odyssey. I've read that book. That might be the last book I read. But this movie is this is like a history piece for me. This is a like that's what it feels like. It feels like you're watching like an ancient history, like a telling of it. Yes, it's got like gods, but to me that's like a made up, thing. And I think to be honest with you, I think we had the perfect list of 5 movies that kind of interact with each other today, because if you take away the backstory that we know on everything, maybe things change a little bit. But even on this one, I think of high school. I think of I don't think of a horror movie. Prove me wrong though. I don't know. What do you...
So I'll tell you this. This movie is horror or not horror, depending on when you're being told or shown the story.
Like how young?
No. So, like today, we're watching it today. It looks like so ancient history. This is about heroes and bad guys fighting, right? That's all it is. Let's say you're back 1,000 years. Let's say you're 2,000 years ago, and you hear about this story about Perseus, who's this hero that has to chop off the head of Medusa and then go fight the Kraken, and all for the love of his life. That sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah, maybe.
It's all about the context of when you're hearing it.
If you take out he's got to chop off Medusa's head, and like that's not really.
Like she's
that's
a
like
snake demon.
That's a byproduct. Yeah, well, how you name them? She could also be the god of
she's
love,
a
or
snake
wasn't she,
with serpents on her hair. No, she she slept with one of the gods or turned down one of the gods, so they cursed her.
Okay, so there's so like you say the snake demon, but you could say a lady who got cursed for not sleeping with one of the gods, and he has to go fight the big bad boss at the end. Like it's the exact same thing that you said, but how you say it makes a difference in it.
Evil Dead Rise. Just to punch people in a high-rise movie, high-rise building, and a book does some bad things.
I mean, fair point. But I'm just saying, like it's like. Medusa is maybe the scariest character.
The Kraken, it's Greek. The Kraken is like more dangerous than Godzilla. Like,
yeah, but a lady that if you literally look at her, you turn to stone. That's like dark. But
yeah.
I mean, but when I look at Clash of Titans. This is not horror.
Be careful. You're going to start sounding like Jason. This is going off of feelings and emotions and not factual information.
It is actual information for me the same way. Like, once again, Mortal Kombat, out of all these, is the most horror movie that we are talking about today.
Isn't that crazy? And we gave it a no.
And we gave it a no. Because of what? Nostalgia.
Yeah. Not nostalgia.
Yes, it is. It's you playing an old video game.
It's not because of nostalgia.
That is nostalgia.
I forget. I'm a loss for the word that would slam me down. But it's concept. It's what's come before. It's what people always complain about with the Star Wars movies. You know what I mean? They ruined all the new ones with the old ones with the new ones. That type of stuff. People don't like that continuity stuff. So the continuity of Mortal Kombat is it's a video game. It's a tournament. And it still is in this movie.
Okay, and this is almost the same thing. It's a journey.
This is a hero.
Journey.
battling
a hero
demons
on a journey in Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Like that's
so it's a
that's
time
the
frame.
context.
It's a time frame that's throwing you off.
Right. I mean, but for the same reason, I'm saying the other ones might not be horror is the exact same reason I would say this is not horror. And here's the deal: at what age would you show your kids Clash of Titans?
They're not old enough now. My oldest is 8.
Oh, see, I would show a kid younger than that.
My
Clash
kids
of
get.
Titans.
I
don't think it's scary at all.
My son gets scared at Moana. So
Well, so that's completely different then. But I'm just saying, and that I know this isn't a end all be all because we can name a couple movies like Beetlejuice, as we already talked. You and I
Right.
said that's a horror movie. I'd show that to my kids at a young age. But
Right.
I also think like what you're saying makes this a horror movie is something that is so not scary. I'd show a 5-year-old.
yeah, but nothing's
6-year-old.
scary anymore.
That's not true.
But
Like,
you're
I'm
not.
saying
You're
kids.
not.
I'm
You're
saying
not.
kids.
You're not showing this to kids because of gore, language, and nudity. You're not.
Right.
You're not really not showing it to them because of monsters. So this movie probably has a better case of being a horror movie than the other 4. But I get your point too. So.
I'm a no on it. I mean, you go with what you need to, but you have not sold me on
all right.
it. Being.
So I'm probably a no too, but I don't like that answer. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't feel comfortable with that answer, but you're probably right.
Well, I think we can agree at that. At least.
So how many of these were horror? So Max Payne, no. Mortal Kombat, no. The Burbs, yes. Army of Darkness, yes. Clash of Titans, maybe.
So 2 for, 3 against.
Yep.
But if we were to take out all
Previous.
previous content,
Max Payne then would be horror too if we took out previous because
I still would not go.
just because
Max
at the last
Payne
minute
as
they
horror.
said it was a drug instead of those actual Valkyries.
No, but that doesn't even. That's not even one throw. I'm not one of those people where if the end, like April Fool's Day, at the end of the movie, I'm not like, oh, it's not a horror movie because they all live. No, it's a horror movie.
All right, I'm gonna throw a quick curveball because I think we have a few. What about Bodies, Bodies, Bodies?
Okay, so I did recently watch this. I find Bodies, Bodies, Bodies a horror movie.
But at the end, you get the twist.
Right. But that's, once again, the ending doesn't, American Psycho, like none of those change what happened, what you watch through a movie.
But this Clash of Titans actually have the demons and the...
If you watched a movie where somebody was sitting in a chair and literally for 1 hour, it is some of the worst torture that you've ever seen in your life. They're ripping out eyeballs and fingernails and, teeth and all this. And you're going, oh my gosh, I wouldn't show, like you're almost disgusted. And then at the end, they wake up from a dream. You're not going to be like, oh, I can show that to everybody now. That's a.
I don't base is it horror off if I can show it to my kids or not.
I'm just saying I don't base horror off of if something changes at the very end of the movie to change everything I know about it. It's what happened in the movie.
I'm just saying Max Payne then would be a horror movie because the demons are following people and killing them.
I still don't think Max. Once again, we can agree to disagree. It's fine.
No,
I think
we must agree.
If we took out all context, all context, I would say Max is a no, Mortal is a yes, The Burbs is a yes, Army of Darkness would still be a yes, and Clash would be a no. I'd be instead of 2 to 3, I'd be 3 to 2.
So if I took out all previous content, I would be 505. All horror.
Okay. I mean, but I think this was a good set, and you and I did not intentionally do this.
I thought some of these would just be funny.
Yeah. Well, I think we definitely. I mean, we definitely have our opinions on it.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, to everybody listening out there, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Is It Horror? I'm sure Kirk will do a mock-up so that you can do individually through one of our many different medium. We got a new medium this week too. We'll talk about it in a second, but we have Instagram. We're out there on the gram, and you can email us directly from there. You can give us movies to review. You can give us questions to ask for Pardon the Tear, and throughout your Is It Horror, movies. We'll review them on the show as well. We're also on Instagram, kinda. It just depends on what we remember and post. We have an email address, mvjhorcast at Yahoo. And then TikTok, and you don't stop, and a YouTube channel. But now we have for now we have 2 Facebook things. I think eventually we'll morph it into one.
I don't think it's things. One's just the MVJ Horrorcast page, and then the other one we actually have a group. The group we can actually communicate back and forth. You can post things, we can post things. It's more of a collaborative effort, which I love.
It's a community.
Yes,
it's a community. It's a new horror community that please join and post with us. Yeah, I mean, let's have some fun. Let's talk some horror.
Yeah, talk some crap. Tell everybody why Mike and Jason are wrong and I'm right. Whatever you got, like, bring it. Like, you can
I don't feel like that's how it would go.
That's what it should go. But I want you guys part of the communication. So I think our Facebook group is actually the most important thing we're doing right now. So please join, get involved. That's going to lead to everything else we do.
And we will put in the notes to the show a link to that page. But you can also go to our Instagram or go to our main Facebook page, and there's links there or some QR code. Kirk's smarter than all of us, so
Facebook does that for you.
It does. Although I never understood when you have like a QRG on your phone, how are you supposed to take a picture of the QRG on your phone?
I don't know what a QRG is, but I know what a QR code is.
What am I doing? Yes,
Yeah.
It's just a QR code.
Yeah. I'll try to figure out what that G is. But if you've got a picture of it, you can save the picture and then you can touch and hold, and it'll take you to the website. So you can actually do it from the picture.
Okay, well, hey, there you go. But we love everybody interacting with us.
Yes.
And to Kirk's point, that is the easiest way because we literally can talk all day and act like we don't have jobs.
And trust me, we probably do. Don't tell my boss.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That's Kirk all day.
I think everybody now everybody assumes you're my boss.
Well, you're fired. No, but also yes, we have we each host our own show. Jason's got Stuck in the 80s with Jason. We got the Tale of the Tape with Kirk, and we got Mic Drop with me as well on the YouTube page. And I think you can see it on probably some other mediums too. Who knows?
Yep, among other things. So stay tuned.
But perfect. All right. Any last words, Kirk, that you got since it's just the two of us this week?
Bad. I don't know. I feel like I need to just like crack on Jason real quick. So the elements were here, and my gut feeling, and Jason Voorhees is the best.
Let me give you a little bit of Jason.
Yes, please do.
That's crazy. Clash of Titans. What are you talking about?
Hey, it's me. It's Amadio.
It's me, and I'm here to tell you.
Yes. Please watch Stuck in the 80s. You'll get the jokes.
Please tune in to Stuck in the 80s. I think you'll watch every single week.
Yes, absolutely.
But all right, so until next time, which is a couple weeks away, I think we're taking a 1-week break here. But until next time, peace out.